solar eclipse, big energy for big players. If you are here, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you wish to receive the benefits of the reading, you have got to be subscribed. You got to hit the thumbs up button. If you would be interested in booking a one-on-one reading with me, you can email me at rubyreadstarot@hotmail.com to discuss pricing and scheduling. Let's start with a really deep, yummy breath in. Let's go. Let all of it go. All intention brought here is what is returned 1,000-fold. What else? The readings for Tuesdays are now moving to Thursdays, and that's just the general reading for all signs and everybody. Right, Virgo. So, potent solar eclipse before we get into Virgo season and Virgo energy. Very much needed solar eclipse just to get you on track with chilling out a bit, having a bit of fun. Your season approaches and it's the wind down to summer. For me, it's the best part of summer. You know, those late evenings, those late warm evenings. And I'm gonna keep shuffling just because I feel like that was premature. That was the page of wands, however, so if that comes up again, we'll know it's definitely your card. Virgo, there has been such a big transformation going on with you this year, and I feel like for the most part, a lot of you have had to take a few diversions to really get you to where you're supposed to be and where you need to be. And Virgo, for the most part, I know that the pace of this year has been really different since Uranus has come out of Taurus. It's been in Gemini and the pace has been a lot more fluid. And I think with this being a fire horse year also, it's definitely one of those times where Virgo, it's more at your speed, more at your pace. And I feel like Virgo, the people that can't necessarily keep up with you may not find that they have a place in your life anymore, which I think for the most part is always a good thing. If you are someone who likes to be very much Virgo energy, getting things done, moving and shaking, then it's really important that you're at the same speed as the majority of people that you are spending your time with. So Virgo, what can I tell you? What do you need to know from me for this Leo eclipse? Leo solar eclipse. Let's get the cards out for you, Virgo. These ones jumped out, so I think I'm going to take those. The Queen of Wands and the Ace of Swords. Virgo, I feel like this solar eclipse is bringing forward some endings and new beginnings for you. This really is a time where you're going to have to be the voice of reason. You're going to have to be quite clerical and quite detached about what it is that you know no longer serves a place or a purpose in your life, because the energy now really is moving towards your confidence, your dynamic energy, your charisma, your charm, your tenacity, and all of the things that really put you in your power. This is one of those full moons that really is going to take you from being just bored with life to someone who's actually making the magic happen for themselves. There is this need for you, Virgo, however, to determine with clarity. I'm having summer allergies, so if I'm snuffling a bit and blowing my nose, please ignore that. Okay. You're gonna have to step into this confidence, Virgo, and it's gonna have to be a little bit bigger than the confidence that people prescribe. This is gonna have to be that type of confidence where you know your shit, you've done there, you've been there, you bought the t-shirt, you've lived the experience. You will probably do it a lot better than a lot of other people, Virgo. Here you are with this invitation to step back into your power, into your creativity, into what makes you the Virgo that you are. There is, however, a few hooks, drains, siphons that you know with full clarity, things that don't necessarily fit in your life so much anymore, that you are going to have to cut with precision, that you are going to have to cut the cords on, and you are really going to have to walk away from. Because you know what, Virgo? You don't need the help of anybody else to get to where you need to get to. You do, however, need to be in your full power, living out your purpose, to be able to get from one step to the next. So Virgo, here you are, and this really is one of those times where you are being requested to step into your full power and to be mighty confident about it. And there's a level of courage that is required when you're willing to be the person that you were brought here to be. So for a lot of you, this solar eclipse really is an invitation for you to cut cords with things that you know no longer serve you. Endings and new beginnings as we move into the Pisces lunar eclipse at the end of the month. This solar eclipse really does highlight for you where it is that you know that you need to step into your creativity, you need to step into that charisma, charm, tenacity, and confidence, and what it is that you need to do to be triumphant with this power, with this energy that you are being told to move forward with. Queen of Cups. Virgo, there is also something here about you really needing to own it, okay? There is nowhere that you need to go other than being in a place where you are receptive. So for a lot of you Virgos, this isn't just about you being a lot more confident, being a lot more creative, and being a lot more courageous about who you are, who you were meant to be, and the reason that you've come here. But this is also an opportunity for you to really embrace this confidence and put to good use clarity of mind that this solar eclipse is going to bring with it for you to cut cords with things that you know keep you lower than what you're really supposed to be. There is somewhere where you don't have to push, where you don't have to chase, where you don't have to go out of your way to pull in the things that you know that you want. If you are really doing it right, if you're really sitting in your magic right, there is no way that the things that you don't want, the things that you want, won't be magnetized to you. Okay, so there is somewhere here where you are really being told, be a lot more confident, be a lot more courageous, be a lot more creative about your magic, the way that you look at yourself. There are certain cords that need to be cut. There are certain things that are already part of your life that are no longer serving you, that if you wish to be successful with, you are going to have to cut these cords. However, there is nowhere that you need to chase. There is nothing that you need to do to pursue, to overcompensate, right? You've got to be confident enough in your own magic that you will allow it to come to you. And this solar eclipse, I feel like, really is that moment that is telling you how much energy are you going to exude pursuing things just because you think you want them. What would happen if you stopped chasing? What would happen if you let the things that you really wanted, who would you have to become to let them come to you? And what is it right now that you're doing to align with the victory that you know that you will be in line with once you decide to step into your full power? Once you decide to cut cords with things that you know are not necessarily working in your best favor. What exactly is it that you know that you could do to really cut the cords on things that you know just don't serve? If you're willing to step into your creativity, if you're willing to step into your power, if you're really willing to step into that magic, and if you're really willing to be confident, truly confident enough to know that whatever you want will come to you, you will be victorious. There will be a triumphant moment for you with this solar eclipse. What are you willing to do to cut away things that don't work for you? What are you willing to do to really sit in that confidence? What are you willing to do to really allow it to come to you? And how, if anyway, how are you preparing for this victory? Let's start by looking at all the reasons why you have convinced yourself you can't. And maybe this is one of the things that you have to cut the cords on. Maybe there is a script that's running in the background that really is saying to you, there is somewhere where you're going to have to set yourself free. And this is going to require a lot of confidence and a lot of focus and a lot of drive and a lot of ambition. And if you're willing to be that person who can wholeheartedly step outside of the blockades and the limitations that you may have put upon yourself, the confidence that this solar eclipse is really about embedding in you it really is saying there are places that you're going to have to cut yourself free from a lot of limitations that you put yourself in. A lot of these limitations that no longer serve the script, a lot of these limitations that you know just don't necessarily work for you. They're not necessarily who you want to be, how you want to be, etc. There is, however, somewhere where you're going to have to be very, very honest with yourself about the things that you may have been indulging in your life that have set you back. These may be rhetorics, these may be stories, these may be things that you have told yourself to limit yourself because somewhere along the line you got comfortable playing small. There is, however, this call for a lot of you who I know are here to make a massive change in the way things have been working out in the world right now. And I'm really not too worried about who you are. I think it's more about you knowing exactly who you are and what you've come here to do. So here we are. There is this whole version of truth that is being brought to you with this solar eclipse about what it is that you know that you need to do to cut ties with shit that just is limiting you, that is keeping you small. And a lot of this doesn't necessarily have to be external things. It doesn't need to be external people, external pressures. A lot of this has everything to do with who you are and how you're being with yourself. And how, if you're really going to take matters into your own hands and be the voice of reason, where it is that you need to cut cords with limitation, and how it is that you need to set yourself free. Because there are places here that you need to set yourself free from, Virgo. And I feel like for a lot of you, this triumph for this solar eclipse really is going to be you setting yourself free and stepping into the confidence that you know that you need to be able to carry out this victory. There is something mighty triumphant for you, Virgo. Absolutely mighty triumphant for you. And for a lot of you, that might be cutting out, tying up loose ends of limitation. If you're willing to change your mind on the limitation, if you're really willing to cut cords with that, there will be a victory here. There is somewhere where you do need to be mighty confident, mighty courageous, and mighty able to let it come to you without chasing it. Now, for a lot of you, me saying that might be straight over your heads because it's not something that a lot of people can do. This is like the 0.01% of the world. But if you are here, I know that you are part of that percentage. And I'm not wasting my breath for nobody. So if I'm here because I have to be here, then let me just say this. The more limitations that you put on yourself with this full moon, this solar eclipse, the bigger gap is between you and where you want to be. So right now, the courage that's needed with this solar eclipse really is saying to you, you're going to have to kind of cut yourself out of comfort zones, prisons of your own making, ways of thinking that have really kept you on the sidelines. Your hermit time has come to an end. And now more so than anything, it really is about how you are confidently and courageously and bravely willing to step forward into a victory that is requiring you to know that it comes from within. That really is saying to you, let it come to you. But be aware of the fact that you know that it is you who is sending it to you. Playing small, limitation, it's not going to work for the last quarter of the year. So as we step into September, as we step into Virgo energy, these loops, these cords, these prisons of your own making, these limitations, all of the reasons why you can't, really are going to have to be replaced with a courage and a willingness for triumph and victory that a lot of you may have been really comfortable bypassing. The thing is, with this solar eclipse, the level of confidence that's required of you really is you overcoming all of the reasons why you've held yourself back. If you can list out for yourself all of the reasons, these can be so subtly embedded in your subconscious, the reasons, the comfortabilities, the limitations, all of the things that you have actually like set out as part of your main frame of thinking, all of that's going to have to be upgraded. And that's going to take an awful lot of confidence and an awful lot of charisma, a tenacity, a charm, a can-do. Victory is 100% set. But you're going to have to be mighty real with yourself about it. And if you can do that, if you can actually sit here and tell yourself, you know what, enough of this, enough of the playing small. If I've been given this proverbial sword, if you will, to really cut away at the limitations with this solar eclipse, where would I start? Which trauma would I start with? Which limitation would I start with? Where would I start? What would it take for me to become truly on the path, of being that recognized person, that celebrated person, that person who is so present for the victory that you know that you have worked so hard for? What would it take for you to be fully embedded in that mind frame of knowing you don't have to chase it? You can let it come to you if you're being confident enough with yourself. Confidence can very easily override limitation. And a low self-worth is something that really needs to be worked on here. If for whatever reason you have resigned yourself to playing small, what led to this? And how happy are you truly being limited? How happy are you truly watching life pass you by with other people receiving all of the things that they want while you still hold yourself back for reasons that can't necessarily be accounted for? I mean, if I was to give you the sword that would cut away at that, would you even use it? And where would you start? What would you cut away at first? What really would be the first thing if I said to you, Virgo, listen, after this evening, after this solar eclipse, wherever you are in the world for it, if you could do one thing to really make better your life, what would that one thing be? And if you started there, and if you cut away at everything that doesn't necessarily align with that one thing, you've actually got a plan and purpose for the last quarter of this year. So for a lot of you, this really is a battle of the self. This really is a battle of where it is that you know that you've been wasting your energy, binding yourself, limiting yourself, playing small in a way that you know is just not serving. It's not serving you, it's not serving no one, it's not serving nothing. As we enter Virgo energy after this solar eclipse, Virgo, you're gonna have to step into the authentic, true identity of yours, of that magician, as above so below. You've got all the resources that you need, and you've got all the tricks up your sleeves. This really is about how confident you are, how willing you are, and how about you are to own your power. If you're really willing to own your power, what would that mean? How would you have to change? How would the script have to change from how it's been? Where is it that you've been talking yourself out of your own blessings? Where is it that you may have been quietly working along on your life, forgetting about your power, forgetting about your magic, because it's been so easy to really sideline yourself into limitation? You're gonna have to cut away from all of that right now, because if I can stress this one thing, you stepping into your power, you stepping into your confidence, and you being courageous about cutting away, cutting yourself out of limitation, really puts you in a place where you have no more excuses not to be the person that you came here to be. You really have no more excuses not to practice the magic that you know has been deeply embedded into the sheer acknowledgement that you were born a Virgo. You've got all of the tricks up your sleeves. You know how to change the situations from one state to the next. You've even been given all of the resources that you need. You already know how to use them. There is somewhere that you're really gonna have to pull yourself out of a place that's gonna require a hell of a lot of power to actually align with the courage and the emotional stability to let it come to you, for you to make it happen, for you to designate your power in a place of magic, Virgo. You will be triumphant. But there is somewhere here where you've got to reestablish the identity for yourself. And if you're willing to do that, there will be places where you can actually see the magic transform in front of you. Transform your life in front of you. There is just somewhere here that you're going to have to pay a little bit more detail to what it is that you've done to limit yourself. King of Swords and the Fool card. You're going to have to be really intellectually savvy about this one. Because there is a new beginning. Endings and new beginnings. By the time we get into this lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces, there will be real obvious endings and new beginnings. There will be places that you know that you have to cut yourself free from. Because they're not encouraging your growth. They're not encouraging your confidence. They're not promoting your magic. The more willing you are to be about you right now, the more willing you are to take your focus and your attention off of everyone else right now and pay attention to the matter at hand, which really is about you rebuilding yourself as the sun draws closer to your sign. Now, for a lot of you, that might be hard work that you don't want to do. And if you're one of those people, it's totally okay. You should just leave the reading right now. I frankly, honestly don't care. But for those of you who are here listening, you're gonna have to step into this level of magic that's going to ask you to cut away at things that you know have limited you. Because what is on the other side of this solar eclipse is a new beginning. And those endings that are required of you right now really are you cutting away from things that you know have put you in a state of limitation. Those limiting beliefs, those prisons of your own making, the paranoias, the self-doubt, the lack of self-worth, the lack of self-belief is what this solar plexus, this solar eclipse is quite clearly telling you is the last thing that needs to be overcome in order, with clarity and with clerical kind of focus and precision. You're gonna have to cut away from things that you know are blocking you from this new beginning that the sun moving into your sign is going to lead you on. For a majority of you, after this lunar eclipse in Pisces at the end of August, you're already going to be in a new direction. As the sun moves into your sign, you will already be on the victorious timeline, which is a whole different path from where you've been up until now. You may have been working on somebody else's cause. You may have been working to do something for somebody else. It is now time. It is now time. And I really can't be bothered with the frills and the fancy if it isn't already obvious to you. I really don't give a shit to have the wrong unaligned people here. Because the 0.01% that I am talking to, the 0.01% that I have personally poured my heart and soul into, you are the people that I am talking to. Whatever has happened up until now that has taken you off of your pedestal, you're going to have to overcome it. You're really going to have to look beyond what it is that you know has kept you small. You're going to have to step into your magic. And you already know how this works. You already know what you need to do, because this training of nearly 10 years, the things that you've been through, the things that you have been through are going to be the things that lead you to where you need to go next. If you're willing to pay attention to the successes, the energy that you have needed up until now. A lot of you are moving on. A lot of you are taking what is precious and you're literally moving on. The things that didn't necessarily work for you, it's okay. It's okay to learn the lesson. And it's literally okay to decide when it's time to move in a direction that works for you. And for a lot of you Virgos, the magic is you overcoming situations that may have robbed you of your confidence, that may have robbed you of your magic, where you may have had to go out and chase things that may not even necessarily have been aligned. The solar eclipse is giving you the power, it's giving you the voice of reason, it's giving you the rationale, it's giving you the triumph, the conviction enough to cut away from bullshit that you know has limited you, that has made you small, that has robbed you of your magic. You will be triumphant if you take the lessons that you have needed to learn from this phase of time and move swiftly on, knowing that as above, so below. The things that you have in your mind are literally the things that are playing out in your life, but you've got all of the tricks up your sleeve. You've got all the resources at hand. You just need to be thinking very, very clear, like very clearly about this new beginning that has been set out to set you free. I want to say also with this, it's time to have some fun. It really is time to look beyond what's been so traumatic, look beyond what's been so struggle oriented, look beyond what's been so difficult, and actually put yourself in that frame of mind of actually having some fun. For a lot of you, you may find that this is the time that you actually get out and get an opportunity to let your hair down. For the most part, Virgo, I want to say that you deserve it. You deserve to be celebrated. You deserve this victory, and you will actually manifest it if you believe in it. And if you don't, that's okay. Maybe it's not your time yet. Maybe you have another karmic cycle to take. If you are, however, ready to make that necessary shift in your life, please know that there is a celebration that is making its way to you. But you're going to have to be quite savvy about where it is that you know that there are certain endings and beginnings that you're going to have to really take quite seriously. And actually honor. Alright, Virgo. Do I have any more information for you? Changes in your finances and your material situation. I think for a lot of you, you're going to find that there is an independence that is being brought forward to you and the means to be able to afford it and support it. Destiny. Destiny is now at play, and the solar eclipse really is highlighting that. This really is a destined time for you, Virgo, and the financial material changes that are taking place really are linked with mental conflict, things that you may have drawn upon yourself by thinking in a pessimistic way, and how you're really going to have to accept now that you are like a magnet, and the signal that you're sending out really is the one that is going to be coming about. Solar plexus. This is that lunar eclipse of the solar plexus chakra, so work on your confidence, as I've already said. New beginnings and spiritual and material prosperity. A lot of you are opening up brand new doors, brand new beginnings, and this may be fortune that you may not have necessarily anticipated. But what I want to say is that if you can take the energy out of your soul, out of your crown chakra, and move it literally to your solar plexus, and a lot of you already know how to do that, you don't need me to tell you how to do that. You might find that what you're moving forward with, if you're willing to own this magician energy, is that knowing that if you can adapt that confidence and that charisma and that charm, and if you can really be detached in places where you know that the more you are being a pessimist, the more likely you are to perpetuate this cycle. You're going to have to set yourself free, and victory is going to have to be the destination, whatever that looks like. Let it play out how it wants to. But Virgo, what I am going to suggest to you is that there is this brand new trajectory in front of you, and it's a new beginning. And let this sandwich of Leo, solar eclipse, Pisces, lunar eclipse, let this phase literally be about you stepping back into your magic. Let's get a card from the goddess. Guidance. This fell into my lap, and that is guidance. Guardian. You and your loved ones are safe and spiritually protected. Big key thing about safety here. Bodies of water and golden opportunity. Spend time near water such as a lake, river, or the ocean to recharge your batteries. If you're not close to a body of water, the door's open. I hope you have been enjoying the sound, the ASMR of the ocean. That's the Atlantic Ocean. Yamanya, golden opportunity. Important doors are opening for you right now. Walk through them. And that is this portal of this solar eclipse, Virgo. There is somewhere where you're really gonna, I can't stress it enough, it's the same thing. You're gonna have to work on your confidence, Virgo. It's gonna have to come from within you. The magic, the confidence, the power, the tenacity, the drive. It's gonna have to come from within you. You're gonna have to override the places that have been so deeply embedded in your subconscious that you have become so fucking confident in limiting yourself. Okay? The more you're willing to overcome that, the more you're willing to override that, the more likely the financial and the material changes that are about to take place in this life, in this phase for you, are more likely to be aligned with your magnetism. And there is something here about you needing to be as magnetic as possible right now. And this solar eclipse, use it as something that amplifies the energy, because it is amplifying what is already embedded in your solar plexus. Exactly that. If there is fear, if there is limitation, if there is somewhere where you need to step outside of that and think about movement, progression, and victory, it may come from you actually taking matters and destiny into your own hands and making the necessary changes that you need, not by paralyzing analysis paralysis, putting way too much pressure on that precious mercurial Virgo brain of yours, and taking it and putting it back into the body and actually moving and shifting and shaking into the direction of the victory that you know that you crave. Let's do a bit of romance. I want to see what's going on for Virgo romance. Virgo? I'm not doing Virgo in each sign because the energy doesn't need to be external. It really needs to be internal right now. And as the sun moves closer into your sign, the more willing and the more open you are to take the attention off of the external and put it back onto the internal, the more likely you are willing to succeed. So, let's see. Virgo, in terms of romance, what do I need to tell you? Getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bonds deepen. Ooh. Virgo, what else do I need to tell you about your love and romance? Engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment and codependencies. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. Ooh, are you being naughty, Virgo? There is, however, somewhere that the relationship is moving to a higher level of commitment. And to those of you that are getting engaged, congratulations. I do think that's all I have now. Virgo, if you wish to book a reading with me, email me rubyreadstarot@hotmail.com. Everybody who's here, thank you so much for joining. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you hit the thumbs up button. This solar eclipse, I can't stress it enough. The more you're willing to be in your confidence, the more you're willing to step outside of subconscious programming that has been running the show and kind of keeping you stuck, the more you're willing to override that shit, and the more you're willing to just step into your independence, knowing that none of this shit is real. And if you can feel good, then you can be good. And if you're willing to be good to yourself, I think that's more important than anything else, right? Alright, my loves, I shall catch you